Humans are living in an era when just a few clicks or touches on their smartphone screen allows them to communicate with friends or family members, no matter where they are. However, despite many advanced technologies, people are becoming lonelier, especially the elderly. According to data from the Population Research Institute, there are currently 46 million people over the age of 65 in the United States, 70% of whom currently live alone. These people cannot avoid their loneliness and need help in life.
Help me.
In this era of rapid scientific and technological development, anyone who has a smartphone can reach their family members in case of emergency using different chat applications. However, as we just saw in the video, we don't know what would have happened to this elderly person without the timely assistance of the Omni robot. The person who created this robot is Dr. Vu Thuc, the only Vietnamese person honored in the top 40 under 40 years old and with most impressive achievements in 2017 by Silicon Valley Business Journal. And today we're very lucky to have him here on our Talk Vietnam. Hello, Thuc. Welcome to Talk Vietnam.
Hello, it's a great honor to be here.
So in the previous report, we saw a clip of an old lady living by herself in the United States. And do you think this trend is getting more popular? And is that why you came up with the invention of the Omni robot?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the world population is facing a huge challenge with aging issues, especially in countries like the US, Japan, Europe. And that's another trend, which is, we call it aging in place, where people actually prefer to stay in their own home when they get older. And so this poses a lot of challenges to the society, to the family, how to take care of the elderly. And so Omni robot was invented with one of the purposes to help with this challenge.
As far as we can see, technology has brought so many changes to the world, but it also makes connection between people less direct, like face-to-face, right? But thanks to your invention is actually helping to solve this problem. So can you tell us more about the products of OhmniLabs?
Technology is pretty much a tool. How we use a tool actually would dictate the outcome, the result. So for us, we believe technology can actually bring people closer. And so we designed our robot, Omni, from the ground up with this purpose in mind, how to help with the communication between people. You can imagine it's, sort of a tablet on top of a movable base. And so people can dial in remotely, can control the robot remotely, they can drive around in the home, in the restaurant, school, and have two-way video and audio communications with the people in the surrounding. Yeah. And so, in the sense, it's just like you can be 1,000 miles away instantly.
Yeah.
This is an Omni robot, Thelma Ackley's friend.
Hi, Evan. Oh, good. And the family?
Thelma is 91 years old and currently living alone in an independent apartment building for the elderly in Palo Alto, California. For the last few years, her life has been less lonely thanks to this special friend.
And we always take a family photo at Christmas. And so that year, we put the robot in the middle, and there he is with his wife in the middle with the rest of the family around. So he was with us.
My brother called in and walked around during dinner, or rolled around, and went and said hi to everybody and was able to, it was just like he and his wife were there.
sit with them and they say, now we want you to...
Thelma also has another Omni robot in her house, connecting her with relatives in all over the US.
Because I didn't know what the problem was. This is my grandson. He lives up in Belmont, between here and San Francisco.
I see her a lot more often. The good thing about this is she can call me quickly, or I can check on her quickly instead of driving. I live about half an hour away.
It feels like that person is right here with me. It's a great feeling. It's better than just talking on the telephone. This is a lot more fun because they can move.
So in the previous report, we can see that Thelma doesn't only have just one robot. Actually, she has many robots in her home. So how do you feel when your inventions are become more popular and more useful to senior people?
You know, we're very glad that we could help. You know, we even saved one life over our robot. And so, you know, the elderly had a robot in her home. Her son was traveling on business trip, and, you know, she had an accident. He tried to call her, but couldn't reach her over the phone. But luckily, they had an Omni in their home. And so he managed to drive around, found her. She was in pain, couldn't get up. And, you know, he dialed 911, you know, the emergency line, and walked her through the whole ordeal. And so, you know, we're very glad that we were there to help them in this situation.
What year was that?
So this one was, I think, in 2017. Yeah.
So after 2 years, is there any new features or improvements that you add on to the product?
Yeah, so we have an ambitious roadmap for Omni. And so one of the feature that we're rolling out is autonomy. So basically allow the robot to navigate, move around inside the environment, whether it's home, whether it's school, have a mapping of the space, and also, you know, recognizing obstacle, navigate around them. So that's one. Second thing is the arms. So we're rolling out the arms that allow people to teleoperate it, you know, from far away remotely, so that they can move objects in the environment. This way will allow us to do interesting tasks.
So the robot can actually help like a person to move something?
Yes, definitely. It can help the person to pick up, you know, an object, or, you know, help to open doors, turn off the stove, turn off water. Right? These are the tasks. Even though it's very simple to us human beings, actually is very challenging. Still very challenging for robotics.
Yeah. So have you released this new feature?
So the arms are in the prototype phase right now. You know, we're looking at, you know, maybe 6 months or so for the first trial.
Vũ Duy Thuc and his friends Jared Go and Ting Si Tan are determined to work in the field of home robots. Together, they established a startup named OhmniLabs based in Silicon Valley. In 2015, the first test version of the Omni robot was born with flexible mobility. The robot can automatically watch movies with humans and walk like a friend. Working in the field of home robots with few competitors is an advantage of OhmniLabs.
We're playing around this idea of how can you improve the experience of, you know, when you're far away from someone rather than just a video chat or FaceTime. And so we explored this idea, and that led us on to the idea of Omni. And from that, we started looking at all these different verticals. So for example, helping grandparents who are alone by themselves, helping those families be there. Because loneliness is actually one of the most correlated morbidity factors of aging.
Thuc has a very impressive technical background, but I think one of the things that is really impresses me about him, and also one of the reasons why I enjoy from the bottom of his heart, he tries to care for other people. Yeah, so that's what really, you know, makes me feel very good working with him.
So what are the differences of the Omni robots compared to other products available in the market?
So we designed Omni from the ground up to fit into the social settings. So we designed the Omni to be lightweight, very easy to manipulate, to control. You can ship it, you know, quickly around the world, and very easy to set up, very easy to use. And also, the really cool thing about Omni is we 3D print the robot. And so we design, develop, and manufacture the robots by 3D printing the parts.
Yeah.
And this all done in Silicon Valley. And so with this, this allows us to really customize Omni to the need of our partners so that they can service their clients.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of following a B2B to C model. One of the examples that we have done recently is a partnership with ANA.
Yeah.
ANA is one of the largest airline in the world, and actually the largest airline in Japan. And they believe the future of traveling is actually not flying. Very interesting. So they believe the future of traveling would be through robotics. So they call this is a mobility platform for all.
Yeah.
So they want to put, they call it robotics avatar all over the world, so that next time you need to go to a meeting or a conference in Tokyo, instead of having to fly there, you can just dial into one of the robots in Tokyo.
Yeah.
And then you can control it, you can go, drive around, meet people,
Yeah.
Just like you're there.
Yeah.
And so we are now the only partner that can help them to develop and manufacture these robots.
Right. And
So
that
it's
will
very
help
exciting.
Yeah,
Yes.
that will help save a lot of time and also cost of traveling.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And so the goal for ANA is to roll this out across Japan, especially for the Japan Olympics in 2020.
Wow, coming
Yeah.
soon.
Coming very soon.
Yeah.
At the Combined Exhibition of Advanced Technology, or CEATEC, which was held in October 2019, one of Japan's major airlines, All Nippon Airways, or ANA, introduced their new project called Avatar. The Avatar robot was developed by a group of Vietnamese engineers led by Dr. Thuc Vu.
Avatar is All Nippon Airways' latest project. These robots can be controlled by its drivers from very far away. We plan to deploy 1,000 of these robots around Japan by April 2020.
ANA has signed a contract with OhmniLabs to develop and manufacture these Avatar robots. The application of Avatar robots isn't limited to just travel. They can also be used for nursing, education, shopping, or public administrative services. At the show, OhmniLabs also introduced the second generation of the system with an updated unibody shoulder, improved strength, and a 50% increase in motion speed.
You mentioned about you are the only partner that ANA is, cooperating with.
Yeah.
Can you explain more why?
Yeah, so, for like a big Japanese company like ANA, right, it's quite surprising that, they choose to work with, a startup like OhmniLabs.
Right.
So a lot of people ask us this question, like, why would ANA work with you? But if you think about it, even though Japan has been on the forefront of robotics development, and, they well known, right, for robotics technology, but their approach is very different. They very meticulous, they very, perfectionist in a sense, right?
Yeah,
And so
Japanese
they take a
people.
long time. And, they try to develop something very advanced, but it takes too long and the cost is very high. So for a robot, it might cost a couple $100,000 or $1 million. So it's impossible to deploy these robots in the social setting.
Right. And the time to develop and
Absolutely. There's no way they can get all these robots in place for the Japan Olympic.
Yeah.
And that's how we can help.
Right.
Because with the way that we manufacture, develop these robots, we can actually build a robot for them from scratch in a record time, less than 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah,
And how
from like the
much-
ideation to production.
Yeah. And how much does the robot cost?
The robot right now, the cost is 3,500.
Wow.
So, really, really
Yeah.
affordable.
Right. Yeah. So maybe, that's all of the advantages that you can offer them.
Absolutely.
So I want to mention about the experience of bringing OhmniRobot to the runway of a fashion show. Where do you get that idea from, and how was that experience?
So So robotics, if you think about robots, right, people would think about something ugly, something scary,
Very industrial,
industrial
kinda, yeah.
manufacturing. So we want to change all of that. We
Yeah.
want to have something that friendly, something that will be everywhere in our society. And to change that, we need some cool idea, right, that show that yes, robot can be alongside of human anywhere, and even in area that it seems remotely distant from robotics, such as fashion, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the idea, putting the robot on a fashion runway to have robot walking alongside of human is a way for us to say that, look, human and robots should be coexisting, should be working together, should be making, building a relationship.
So how did the audience react?
Oh, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So I think we got millions of hits for the clip that the robot was walking the runway show.
Yeah.
I think it was the biggest hit for BBC on BBC last year or something like that.
So do you think of doing something similar in the future?
I think we want to put robots in other situation, other scenario that allow us to showcase that, hey, look, robots can be a friend with human.
In 2018, Robot Omni modeled cultural design at London Fashion Week for the first time ever. That's the partnership between OhmniLabs and designer Honey Lee, an overseas Vietnamese based in Los Angeles. It's the latest example of how high-tech devices are being outfitted for everyday use.
Có nhiều cái tin tức, thông tin khắp nơi trên thế giới. Đây là lần đầu tiên con robot được đi lên trên sàn. Thì ai cũng biết là Hương có thể chắc là thiết kế quần áo cho con robot. Hương không nghĩ như thế. Thì tại vì thật sự ra cái con robot này cái cách thiết kế của cái robot này nó không có thể đi đôi với quần áo được dễ dàng. Thì Hương mới đem đi lấy cái Swarovski crystal mình dán lên để nâng cao cái phần lộng lẫy của sự trình diễn.
The show was named I in reference to the rise of artificial intelligence technology, but also the Vietnamese word for love. Honey also explained that her show is not about the future of robots or a world unknown, but of the now.
Ra hàng ngày nếu mình thức dậy trước khi mình chào vợ, chào con thì mình đã cầm cái điện thoại lên mình xem rồi, đúng không? Làm thế nào để mình nói về cái hiện tại bây giờ là chúng ta sống chung với lại những con robot. AI cho là Artificial Intelligence mà cũng thật sự Hương đánh lóng vô là ái cũng như ái đây là mình ái tinh thần ái của Việt Nam, mà tinh thần ái về những cái gì mà mới mẻ.
So now I want to go back a little bit to your childhood. At the age of 10, you had grown a passion for computer science and math. So what attracted you in those particular fields?
I think I'm very lucky that from a younger age, I have had enjoy a really good education. I was following the magnet school track. So like, Trường Duyên, that's how they call it in Vietnam. And math was one of the topics that I really enjoy. I approach math almost like playing a game. Solving a problem is just like how you use the existing rules, combine them to find a solution, right? And I always get, very, happiness when I can solve, one of those problems.
Yeah.
And so that's how the interest started. And then when I got to high school, I had a chance to choose either continue with math or computer science. And at that time, computer science was very, very new in Vietnam. It was, I think, 1985, 1986. And so, but, I saw that computer science can actually solve a lot of problems, a lot of, issues in the real world.
The internet was introduced in Vietnam in 1990.
Around that time, exactly, yeah.
What about the other factors such as family members? For example, your father, did he affect your choice of career path?
I think family is one of the biggest factor for my career path, for my growth. Especially my dad. He's my role model and, also mentor, advisor. And, growing up, getting a really good care from both of my parents, and they put in a lot of investment in a sense, right, for my my education, for my career path, made a lot of sacrifice as well. And so, I'm very grateful for that.
Having a passion for computers since childhood, Vu Thuc has been an excellent student of a computer science specialized class from Vietnam National University, Ho Chi Minh City High School for the Gifted. After that, he received a scholarship to study abroad and graduated with a bachelor's degree at Carnegie Mellon University.
Khi mà học cấp 3 tại trường năng khiếu, tôi cũng được may mắn là học với thầy Hùng, giáo viên môn tin học tại năng khiếu, và chính thầy cũng đã truyền cảm hứng cho tôi và các bạn học cùng lớp, và từ đó cái niềm đam mê nó đã kéo dài đến bây giờ.
Về đấy thì câu chuyện về ứng dụng tin học thì là rất ít. Cái phương pháp của tôi là dùng các cái bài toán có mang tính chất là thuật toán để dạy cho các em. Những cái bài toán của tôi đưa ra thì dẫn dắt cho các em đi theo một cái tư duy hoàn toàn khác.
Vào cái thời điểm đó thì chúng tôi ai cũng đam mê game. Khoảng thời gian đấy đối với tôi, việc mà đưa ra những cái chương trình để mà giải những cái bài toán nó cũng không khác gì cái việc là chơi game, tại vì nó cũng là những cái thử thách và đòi hỏi những cái suy nghĩ và đưa ra những cái giải pháp với các bài toán cụ thể đó.
Can you share a little bit about the process of you becoming a researcher?
I have been working in AI, artificial intelligence area for, I guess, more than 15 years. Started out very early at Carnegie Mellon. Carnegie Mellon has a very strong, not only engineering program, but also a very strong research program.
Well, why did you pick that school to apply for?
Yeah, so I just like it.
Okay.
I mean, besides being the top school, when I visited, it's very cozy, very friendly. And Pittsburgh is, an interesting town.
Yeah.
So, I decided to go there. From freshman year, right, I wanted to do research, which is quite early. Usually people start in junior year, third year.
Right.
And so I look around, I went to a couple of open labs and check out what the professors are working on.
Yeah.
And one of the projects that caught my attention was with Professor Manuela Veloso. She was working on multi-agent system, and she was building robots that can play soccer. She's building a team of these dogs that can collaborate, work together to play soccer, just like a normal soccer game. They can pass the ball, they can do, attacking, they can do defending. And, it was fascinating to me. And I was like, wow, this is something that's really cool and really exciting, because I love soccer as well, right? Coming from Vietnam. And so I started working in the lab, and I guess I never left the AI field. And this is where the robotics interest also started from.
And after you earned a full doctorate from Stanford University, you received many offers from big American corporations, but you chose to open your own startup business. Can you tell us why?
When I got into grad school, I got a lot of different offers, from pretty much all the top school in the U.S. And I was debating between MIT and Stanford. MIT has huge tradition with, engineering, with science, technology, and of course research. But what got me really interested in coming to Stanford was the proximity of Stanford and Silicon Valley.
Oh.
And how well they collaborate.
Right.
And because I believe that research for the sake of just pure research is not quite interesting to me. But to me, I rather work on something that have some application a bit closer to the industry.
Yeah.
And so that's why I chose Stanford.
Right.
And at Stanford, entrepreneurship is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone get introduced into entrepreneurship very early on. All like the big companies coming out, for the past decades, a lot of them are from Stanford.
Yeah.
Like before Yahoo, right, and then Google, and so the ecosystem there, it was just amazing.
Right.
And so after grad school, I was looking at different opportunity, and there are big companies there, in the Silicon Valley. But to me, the opportunities to work at a large corporation would always be there.
Yeah.
But
right.
the opportunity of identifying a really interesting problem, starting a really interesting company to work on these problems, it doesn't come that often. And so that's why I decided to start a company.
What maintains your determination to pursue this path despite the difficulties?
To me, I really enjoy when I can build a product that can bring values to our customer, right? Making their life better.
Yeah.
I always get the happiness to see people using our products in a meaningful and positive way.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I've been trying to do.
Yeah.
I want to focus on building products that have meaningful, positive impact on people's lives, rather than just something that make money.
Trịnh Thị Tuyết is 15 years old. In August 2018, doctors at the National Institute of Hematology and Blood Transfusion diagnosed her with myeloid leukemias, a kind of blood cancer.
Đang đi học mà nó không được đi học ấy, nó cũng không phàn nàn đâu, nhưng mà lắm lúc cháu nó nằm ngủ là thấy cháu nó cũng có nước mắt nó chảy ra.
Cháu cảm thấy rất là chán, chỉ muốn về đi học thôi. Từ đầu cháu đi học thì nhiều lần thì lại muốn được nghỉ, nhưng mà khi bị như này thì mình lại muốn đi học.
In early 2019, OhmniLabs brought a surprise for Tuyết. An Omni robot has been installed at Yên Hòa Junior High School, so Tuyết can connect with friends and teachers after months of absence from school to cure the disease.
Cô thấy Tuyết khá hơn rồi đấy.
Chào cô. Em chào cô.
Thế con nói chuyện với các bạn nhá, ở lớp mình nhá.
Cháu nó cũng muốn là về đi học đấy.
Có sắp được về chưa?
Cũng chưa biết.
Tuyết ơi, giao dỗ thêm Huyền kìa.
Nó khóc rồi đấy ơi.
Kia kìa, Tuyết buồn kìa. Thôi.
Thôi đừng khóc nữa.
Tuyết có muốn nói gì với bạn không?
Em sẽ cố ăn thật nhiều để khỏe và khỏi bệnh để về đi học với các bạn.
Nhớ giữ lời hứa nhá.
Mà ăn nhiều khỏe về thi cùng với em ạ.
Tuyết phải mau về chơi với bọn tớ lại, ở nhà buồn lắm.
Nhìn thấy món quà tuyệt vời của các bạn để các bạn sẽ gửi đến cho con, quà cho con nhá. Chị có ăn thật nhiều cho nó khỏe nhá.
Tuyết đây đẹp à? Tớ có biết cái này ai làm đây?
Cháu được gặp các bạn, thầy cô và cháu nó vui lắm. Cháu nó vừa nói chuyện vừa cười. Lắm lúc lại nghĩ là thôi cái bệnh của con lúc nào cũng hy vọng là chữa là khỏi. Đấy là tôi là cứ nghĩ như thế.
Graduating from Stanford, maybe you didn't have that working experience, but you had a high confidence to open your own business. Can you tell us why?
Yeah, so I did work at a couple other large corporations before as internship when I was at Stanford. To start a company, yes, absolutely, there's a lot of risk there.
Yeah.
There are a lot of challenges there. To me, the decision was not that difficult because I feel like, coming straight out of school, I don't have that much to lose. right? You know, I could take the risk because, you know, it would be a really good learning experience for me. As long as I continue to learn a lot, you know, in the field that I'm working on, I think that's already a success. Because a lot of people are worried about the risk of failure, right? What if you start a company and you fail and you lost all the time? But
and
to
they
me,
even have some statistics about the failure ratio of
I think it's actually very high. I think like 95% of companies, of startups, would fail in the first year.
Did you have any startup that failed?
Luckily, no so far. So yeah, I'm on my fourth company now, but you know, hopefully, knock on wood. But
yeah, can you share more about the challenges that you have to overcome opening your first startup and then moving on to the second, the third, and then the fourth?
I think the challenges at each startup is different to each other. You know, no startups are alike, and it's just you know, a matter of learning how to adapt to these challenges. I think for my first startup, it was learning how to find product market fit was one of the biggest lessons for me.
Is it easy to balance between, you know, doing research work and then think about commercialization, your products, and, you know, taking care of so many people working for you?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of tension there. You know, I spend less and less time on the research and engineering side versus, you know, running business and, you know, growing the company. The two sides have their plus and minus. And, you know, if I get to choose, I would rather stick on the research and engineering side. But unfortunately, you know, I have to run the company as well. And so it's just a matter of, you know, what can I make the most impact for my time right now, and, you know, it's on the business side. But, you know, eventually, maybe, I don't know, I'll go back to the R&D and engineering side.
Although living and working in one of the most vibrant technology centers in the world, Thuc still thinks that returning and contributing to his homeland is a way to succeed.
Bất kỳ ai khi mà quyết định quay về Việt Nam đều một phần xuất phát từ nhu cầu trở về quê hương và đóng góp tạo dựng cái giá trị cho cộng đồng và cho đất nước. Khi mà tôi mang Omni về Việt Nam và đồng thời cũng xây dựng những cái đội ngũ về văn phòng tại Việt Nam, mong muốn lớn nhất của tôi là xây dựng một cộng đồng để phát triển về AI và robot.
Vũ Duy Thuc, along with many other young Vietnamese, is returning to explore opportunities and career development in Vietnam today. The strong development of technology and the openness of the policy has paved the way for the strong return of a large number of overseas Vietnamese businessmen.
Người trẻ họ nhìn cơ hội thành đạt về trong nghĩa là mình làm cái công việc gì mình thích, rồi mình có tiền, mình xây dựng cái cuộc sống của mình. Thứ hai, cơ hội đóng góp cho đất nước Việt của mình. Thứ ba là mình có cái cơ hội đưa văn hóa cũng như là cái phát kiến của nước ngoài, là những kinh nghiệm của nước ngoài về Việt Nam.
OhmniLabs has been transferring their robot platform to Vietnam so local engineers can continue to research and develop. In Ho Chi Minh City, Robotic Lab is one of the innovative startups conducting research on Omni robots and adding new applications to help robots become smarter and cheaper.
Đã có những cái bài toán đã giải được, đó là làm cho con robot nó tự động nhận diện cơ thể con người, không thông qua nhận diện khuôn mặt nữa mà thông qua nhận diện hệ xương. Xa hơn nữa thì có những cái trí thông minh mình muốn đưa vào, như là xác định vật thể trong không gian 3 chiều và nó sẽ di chuyển cái vật thể đó đến nơi theo yêu cầu.
So, in your opinion, what is the potential of the development of AI, artificial intelligence, and robotics in Vietnam?
I think we have a lot of potential on the AI side, not so much of the robotics side yet. I think hardware is still, you know, very behind in Vietnam. There's a huge potential for development of AI technology and products in Vietnam. So first of all, we have a lot of good talents here, raw talents in the space, but we are trying to bring in educational program from Silicon Valley, Stanford, Google to train the AI engineers here with Viet AI. So we have had several classes we trained a couple hundreds of AI engineers already coming out of Viet AI, and actually had really good outcome. These engineers can already start to work in their field, applying either AI technology or building their own products. We have a lot of top AI experts in the world working at one of the largest corporations like Google, Facebook, LinkedIn. They can come back and bring their experience and help train, mentor, and advise the next generation of AI developers.
And also one of your efforts in contributing to help the younger generation is your fund, your Viet Seeds Fund, right? Can you tell us more about this?
One of my passions has always been education. And so because I believe I was very lucky to enjoy such a good education program when I was growing up. And it made a huge impact on where I am today. And so I would like to give back to the society through education. We started VSeed in 2011. And for the past 8 years, we have growing the organization very rapidly. So the idea of VSeed is that we giving scholarship to underprivileged students from rural area so that they can go to universities in big cities, can finish their program with good result, but more importantly, we prepare them to find a good good job after they graduate. And so we match them with training program, workshop, match them with mentors to help them along their career path. And we also train them a mindset of paying it forward. So that once they graduate, they find a good job, they start to help people around them, their community. So this way we can really multiply the impact. And the result has been very, very exciting. All the students who graduate from VSeed program, they find a good job, a lot with a big name, large corporation. Several of them actually got scholarship to go study in Japan, in the US. And I think 75% of the students graduate with excellent or good result, and 50% of them was at top 10 of their school.
You've been working here, flying back and forth, and working with many startups, and also you are also an investor. So how do you think about the doing startup in Vietnam?
I think it has never been a better time to do startup in Vietnam, with so much support, so much funding, and there are a lot of experienced entrepreneurs coming back from the US, from Europe, to either start a company here, but also invest and coach the younger generation. There have been a lot of investment, a lot of support for innovation. And for example, innovation hubs or policy that allow people to get together to work on, to start a company, to solve problems. And so I think that's something that will have a good impact.
Yeah. What are the competitive advantage of Vietnam in terms of doing startup compared to other countries?
I think the competitive advantages for Vietnam would be three things. So the first one is the growing market, fast-growing market, younger population, people willing to try new technology, new products. Second thing is the talent. We have very smart, hardworking engineers here in Vietnam. And the third thing is the support from the government. There have been a fast-growing support in terms of funding, in terms of policies for Vietnam. Yeah. And also the VC, money are getting attracted here. And so, all of those make it become a very good destination for startups.
So Thuc, can you share more about your future projects here in Vietnam?
Yeah, so I'm very excited about where Vietnam is going and what we can bring. And one of the projects that I'm working on right now is to building out this innovation ecosystem. And already talking with a couple of different partners to see how we can join force to build out a platform where developers, researchers, corporates can come together and collaborate. But also, not only within Vietnam, but also with global experts who want to come back and contribute.
Well, thank you very much, Vu Thuc, for your stories, and we wish you all the best for your future projects here in Vietnam.
Thank you very much for having me.
Dr. Vu Thuc is one among thousands of Vietnamese overseas finding opportunities for startups in Vietnam. We can see some common qualities they all share. They have many ideas, new and creative ideas. They are not afraid of failure, and they adapt very quickly to a new environment. They are not just doing business to make money. More importantly, they are creating new values and new solutions to solve new problems that challenge society. Hopefully, there will be more people like Vu Thuc returning and contributing to Vietnam to help Vietnam become a hub for startups in the region. And this also wraps up this edition of Talk Vietnam. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.